History's Most Dramatic Betrayals and Scandals, Part 1. Cleopatra, the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic Kingdom of Egypt, was one of the richest and most powerful women in the ancient world. But her wealth did not save her from an untimely death at the age of 39. And the person who ended up taking her life was not an enemy, but her own brother and lover, Ptolemy XIII. After Cleopatra and her sister, the latter of whom was also her lover, gave birth to twins, a boy and a girl, Ptolemy declared the children pharaoh and co-ruler of Egypt, much to the chagrin of his wife, Cleopatra. She was furious because she had just given birth to a stillborn, and believed that her husband's heart had turned to stone. When Cleopatra heard about the alleged murder plot against her, she fled to Rome with her lover Mark Antony, who was also the triumvir of the eastern provinces of Rome. When news of Cleopatra's affair with Mark Antony reached Octavian, Caesar's grandnephew and adopted son, he was furious, assembled a fleet to invade Egypt and bring the lovers back to Rome as prisoners. But before Octavian could lay siege to Alexandria, Cleopatra and Mark Antony took their own lives. The betrayal of Julius Caesar by Brutus and Cassius is one of the most famous incidents in history. On the Ides of March, a group of senators led by Brutus and Cassius entered the Roman Senate and stabbed Julius Caesar to death. But what many people don't know is that there was more to this assassination than met the eye. According to Shakespeare, Caesar's wife Calpurnia begged him not to go to the Senate that day because she had a premonition that something bad would happen. But Caesar decided to go anyway. If he had listened to his wife, he might still be alive. The soothsayer's warning that Caesar should beware the Ides of March also didn't help. When Octavian came to power after defeating Mark Antony and Cleopatra at the Battle of Actium, changed his name to Augustus, and established the Roman Empire, which would last for centuries. In fact, he ruled as the first emperor of Rome from 27 BC until his death in 14 AD. So who were Brutus and Cassius? They were both members of the Roman Senate who were unhappy with Caesar's growing power and his alleged tyranny. They felt that Caesar had become too ambitious and was trying to make himself a king, which was a title that the Romans had rejected centuries ago. In the end, both Brutus and Cassius were defeated by Octavian and took their own lives. So do you think Cleopatra and Mark Antony got a fair trial from history? Let me know in the comments. Stay tuned for part 2.